Hello, good day viewers. Into this tutorial we are going to see the exact differential equation. So for any exact differential equation, an equation must satisfy m of xy dx plus n x of y dy, it is equals to 0. So for an equation to be exact, this is the same thing as what? The partial derivative of what? Y. The partial derivative of m with respect to y, it is equal to the partial derivative of what? Of n with respect to what? With respect to x. Suppose I am given a question which says that, show that, let's say the question says, show that x squared plus y squared dx plus 2xy dy. So I am asked to show that the equation is exact or not exact, and therefore I am asked to what? And find this, and let's say find the solution of it. So for the equation to be exact, I have to say that let's say the function of x and y, it is equals to x squared plus y squared dx plus 2xy dy. So I have to take a look to this. I have to let this to be m. I have to let this to be what? N. So therefore m, this is the same thing as saying the partial derivative of what? M with respect to y should now be equals to what? X squared plus what? Plus y, and the partial derivative with respect to partial derivative of n with respect to what? X, this should now be 2xy. So I have to differentiate this with respect to y. If I differentiate with respect to y, the x squared should what? Should keep as what? As constant, so therefore it will be 0. So the derivative of what? Of y squared, it is the same thing as 2y. So the partial derivative of m with respect to y should now be 2y, and therefore for the partial derivative with respect to n with respect to x, this should now be what? If I differentiate this 2xy with respect to what? X, the x will treat as, it will become 1 multiplied by y. 2 times 1, which is 2, multiplied by y, which is what? 2y. So therefore this should now become 2y. So as you can see, the equation is exact. 2y, it is equals to 2y. So therefore this equation, it is what? It is exact. So, and hence I am to find the solution of what? Of this. To find the solution of this, I have to first take a look to this. I have to say the df, this should now be, I have to take the value of m first. This is the value of what? M. I let this to be m, the whole of this, and therefore the whole of this to be n. So I have to say this df by what? By the what? By the x, because I'm going to what? I'm going to find it with respect to what? With respect to x. I'm going to integrate. So therefore this should now be the x, and therefore I have to say I have x squared plus y squared. I have x squared plus y what? Y squared. So this is the same thing as over 1. I have to cross multiply. This should now be what? df, it should now be x squared plus what? Y squared d what? Dx. So if I integrate both sides, this should now be the function of what? X or y should now be equals to, if I integrate this, I'll get x cubed divided by the value of what? Of 3, plus, if I integrate this, I will have xy squared plus what? Plus constant, so I have to say plus g of what? G of y. The reason why I said plus g of y is that I'm going to treat y as what? Constant, because whenever I find the partial derivative with respect to what? With respect to y should become what? Automatically the y will what? Will disappear. So therefore I have to say plus what? Plus this g of y, because I'm going to treat y as what? As constant. So if I take the partial derivative of this, which is what? X cubed divided by 3xy squared the partial derivative with respect to y plus what? Plus g of y. This should now be equals to the partial derivative of this with respect to y, it will now be 0 plus what? The partial derivative of xy squared, which will become, if you differentiate y squared, you are going to get 2y. So I have to keep down the x first, then the y. I have to say plus what? The partial derivative of g of y should now be g prime of what? G prime of y. So as we all know that n is the same thing as 2x or 2xy. So this should now be 2xy plus g prime of what? Of y should now be equals to what? 2xy. So as you can see, the g prime of what? Y should now be equals to what? 2x. When this crosses the equal sign, it will now be negative 2 or 2xy, and it is equals to 0. So automatically the g prime of what? Y should now be equals to what? This minus this, which is 0. So therefore it will now become 0. So as you can see, I'm just going to say the g of y, it is equals to what? 0, because the g prime of y is the same thing as 0, and also the g of y is the same thing as what? As 0. As I said, I'm treating what? Y as constant, so therefore I have to say the g of y is the same thing as what? Is the same thing as constant. So the final solution of this should now be what? The f of what? X of y should now be x cubed divided by 3 plus what? Plus xy squared plus constant. And therefore, to prove this, I have to say I can use the second what? The value of n. As I said, n which is equals to 2xy. Yes, n it is equals to 2xy. I have to say that if I say the df by what? By dy should now be equals to 2xy. If I cross multiply it, I will have d of f should now be equals to 2xy by what? Dy. If I integrate both sides again, but you have to take note that I'm integrating the value of n, not value of what? M. So this should now be equals to the function of x, and what? Y should now be equals to. You have to take note that I'm integrating with respect to y. So integrating with respect to y, I'll have say 2x. Integrate this, it should now be what? Y squared divided by 2. This will go with this. So at the end, f of what? X of y, I have to say plus constant should now be equals to what? X y squared plus constant. Yes. As I integrate what? As I integrate x squared plus y squared, it gives me the complete this final solution of f x and of the f with function of x and what? Y. And therefore again, I treat this y as constant, and therefore this now become what? Becomes 0, and therefore 0 it is the same thing as what? Constant. And therefore the same thing, this now turn back to what? To this. So this is showing me that this final answer that I will find, it is what? It is correct. So as usual, again, you can just say the f of the function x and what? Y. So this is the same thing as saying the g of what? Y, which should now be equals to what? Xy squared plus what? Plus constant. So therefore it's the same thing as saying the x cubed divided by the value of what? 3 plus what? Plus this, which is what? Xy squared plus c. So again, this is the same thing as this. Please don't be confused. If you are going to solve any kind of exact differential equation, the first thing that you are going to do, if you are going to show it is exact or not, you are going to use this. As I said, this dm, the partial derivative of m with respect to y with the partial derivative of n with respect to x. So you have to take note that this is the partial derivative of y with respect to what? N. You're going to differentiate with respect to y, m with respect to what? Y, and therefore the n with respect to what? With respect to n. After then, you have to first what? Pick the value of m, integrate it. After integrating the value of m, you will get what? You will get this, and you are going to, at the end, plus constant, you have to say g of what? Y, because you are treating y as constant. Yes. So after then, if you like all this procedure, you cannot follow it, but you can just say so for now, let me just integrate this. So when you integrate this, exactly you are going to get what? The second one, the second value of this. Why? As you see this, so therefore you have to get this. If you differentiate this, you are going to get xy squared, you are going to get 2xy. So the main basic idea, after integrating this and finding this, so you can just go and integrate this. If you integrate this, so therefore the final answer that you get, just set this at what? G of y should now be equals to this. As you can see, this will be the same thing as this. The reason why doing this is that this G of y, you are going to eliminate it and put your what? Your constant c, because this G of y, it is showing you that the place, it is constant, but you are just going to treat this what? This y as constant. That's the reason you are putting G of what? Y. So this is all I have for you. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.